Of course, I would literally start my own show with a muted mic. Hello, everyone. Welcome, friends, family. I am so glad you are all here. This is something that I have been waiting for a while, something that I stopped doing, honestly, maybe a year or so ago. And I just was watching in the wings, missing it every step of it, being able to speak and talk to everybody and be a part of the Atlanta United podcast community. And this is something that like I said, I've been waiting for, and just took the gumption of saying, I'm going to dedicate myself to doing this every week. I'm going to dedicate myself to doing this live every week. So then I have no excuse not to make it. And all of you have joined me, and I'm so very thankful, and I'm so excited to introduce you to the show that I've built and the friends that I got to hang out with me, and then the special guests I've got to hang out with me as well. This show is going to be relaxed. It's going to be hanging out. It's going to be enjoying the conversation about Atlanta United, about soccer, about U.S. Men's National Team, about life in general, community feel, a cultural feel, a city feel. This show is basically an invitation to hang out and just talk. So I'm glad that you've joined us and that you are here to hang out with us. I'm going to give you a brief rundown of how these shows will go. There obviously will be an intro, and then there will be a little bit of a catching up section, everything that has happened in the past week, leading up to this Wednesday at 7 p.m. or the following Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And then from there, we'll do a headliner. So the headliner is kind of the big topic, the one thing that we really want to talk about in the show. And that will be coming up as well. And then match preview, so we can prepare you for the weekend coming up. We won't get super into depth with that, because it really is just about what we expect to see, what we could expect from the players, what we expect from the other team, etc. And then a fun portion that I'd like for us to do is involve the community. Obviously, you guys have dedicated and gave us your time to watch and hang out with us. And it's important to hear what you have to say and take your questions and take your comments, and let's all enjoy each other as a family. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my friends for this week. The graphic you will see actually has Tanner on it. Unfortunately, Tanner was not able to join us today, but we do have the audacious Persy Herrera and the twerking Anibal Roldan. Welcome, gents. How are you?
Hello.
So we have agreed, and Persy has also agreed, that he's going to keep it chill, this show, and
I agree to nothing. So
eventually we will have to have you twerk, Anibal. You can either leave your camera where it's at, and then we can get a show at some point in time. Oh my gosh! Right, literally doing it right now.
This is great.
Oh Lord! Oh no!
It's like an 8-bit because it's so pixelated.
Oh my gosh! So obviously this is going to be going to podcast at some point in time. Anibal Roldan just treated us to one of the most amazing twerks I've ever seen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then now welcome to Atlanta. Exactly. I'd like to present our special guest, the godfather of Atlanta soccer, one of the smartest men I know. Just a plethora of information. I always love hearing his opinions and his hindsight on Atlanta United. Jason Longshore, welcome.
What's up? I'm not twerking on the show at all. It's not happening.
I think you could do it. I think you can get up on that poster right there, right behind you.
Nah, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. That's all Anibal.
You have plenty of room, Jason.
Not happening.
Plenty of room.
Not happening.
Oh my gosh!
Have not had the drinks in me to do that tonight.
The night is young.
I need to drink to be twerking. All right.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
All right, so let's go ahead and start kicking into this. Obviously, we're going to do a little bit of a catch up. So I meant to get some banners created for this. I'll create one right now, but you say hello, I say goodbye. We had a lot of hellos and goodbyes this off season. Some really big ones, in fact. I'm just going to go down the list really quickly of our goodbyes. That banner might seem a little rude, but we did say goodbye to a few. The big one, honestly, is Barquito, the boat show, is now down in River Plate with our good friend LGP. hamming it up as always, those two. So that will be exciting to see where he goes. Was anybody surprised about Barco leaving?
No.
Surprised at where he ended up. I thought maybe Europe would come up for him. The European market's so weird right now that I just don't think the money was there for the right spot for him to go. So this is the absolute best spot he could be outside of Atlanta, because he's with a manager who, you go back to how Marcelo Gallardo was as a player, he probably gets Ezequiel Barco as a player better than anybody. So I think he's going to make Barquito an even better player.
Yeah.
I was surprised at the price, at what he was actually sold for. I really thought it could have been a little more. I think the initial reports had it as, was it 14, and then I think, was it Joe, he corrected himself and said it was half of that?
Yeah, it's 50% of the pass if they do the purchase option. And there's all kinds of different reports, like if it's a 1-year loan, if they can extend it to 2, if they can do the purchase option after 1 year, after 2. It's Argentine business. It could go all over the place. But I think the total is somewhere between 14 and 16, roughly break even for Atlanta United, but also break even after a pandemic changed everything. So if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. What I hope for Barco, because of what we saw last year, I just hope he goes to the right spot, kills it, and starts to really get talked about as one of the top young players out of South America.
Yeah. Anibal, you got anything to say since you can't yell Barquito anymore at games?
No, that's about it. No, it's sad to see him go, but like, he wasn't. I mean, this past year was his best year with us after 4 years, and it was just like every year is like, this is his year, and it was just too much to wait. So I'm glad he's somewhere where he can get playing time, and he's back home, so that's good for him. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if this definitely leads to him obviously getting more call-ups to the Argentina national team. I mean, obviously he's already done really well with U20s, but this is definitely, I think, a play for him to get into that national team talk. Oh, hey-oh, Cooligans are in the chat.
Whoa,
what's going on,
up?
guys? We're gonna speak about Dom Dwyer here in a second, so we'll hold on to that comment. Let's continue a little bit with these hello goodbyes. Escobar technically was a goodbye, even though he was loaned out last year. He's now with the notorious LAFC. Do we see that being a good move for them? I mean, I feel like LAFC's backline has always been wish-washy. Escobar, to me, is a good defender. I think he actually fits what LAFC wants. So I think maybe that's a win-win for LAFC. I don't necessarily know about for us.
Yeah, LAFC added a bunch of pieces. I don't know how they're going to fit yet. And Steve Cherundolo is a new manager. He's got to figure that out. It's a little bit of a box of puzzle pieces that you're hoping paints a pretty picture, but I just don't know where Escobar fits. Is he a right back? Is he a center back? Do they play 3 center backs and he's a third center back? I don't know yet. That's a team that I'm waiting to see a little bit more this season because I don't really have a good read on them yet.
Yeah. Anybody else? Goodbye to Escobar.
It's a goodbye. We already have the depth, though. We have Lennon and Hernandez. So, I mean,
good luck, basically.
Have fun.
And he's going to be missed because he was hot, but that's about it. I'm kidding. He didn't leak their kit, so that's good for him. No.
That's true. That is true. He did get a premier standout though in the actual kit, so I think that was like a makeup or a make good. Mo Adams left. I didn't feel like we really saw the best of Mo Adams. He came in, he got injured. It was hit or miss sometimes with Mo for us. I feel like with him being at Inter Miami, that will probably lend a little bit better to his play and give him obviously more playing time as well.
He just got to stay healthy. I got to see Mo with the twos a decent bit when he was coming back from injuries, and I like his game. I think he'll do well there if he can stay healthy. But that's the number one question for him. It's something he couldn't do here, and that's a position group in the central midfield that Atlanta's got a ton of depth. So if you can upgrade with Amar Sejdic, who I thought was really good on Sunday in Birmingham. You've got Hindman coming back from injury. You've got so many pieces in that part of the field. Adams wasn't going to play. Go somewhere else for him where he gets an opportunity to play more.
For sure. Another person I'd like for us to talk about is the youngin, Bello. obviously the move, the transfer saga that happened a little bit with this was that interesting to anybody? I mean, I feel like he always wanted to go to the Bundesliga. I know obviously he got presented the Belgian league. Was that something that we were happy with the move?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would say about it, just to be clear, because I think we get these transfer sagas all the time. We don't always get the actual saga. We're getting the saga from like other people saying parts of the saga. I don't know how much of a saga it actually was. We had Darren Eales on our show in Athens after the game against Georgia Revolution, and he said that Club Brugge had never made an offer. Like that didn't happen. The Cercle Bruges part, I don't know. He didn't speak on that. But I think we get like bits and pieces and sometimes have to try to piece it together from the outside. He's in the right spot for him. He's in a better spot. He's in a spot where I think he's got a better pathway to play. And he's in a spot where young Americans are valued in Germany. So I think it's a great spot for him to be in. I thought maybe he'd get more money out of the deal. Maybe the market affected it. But in terms of for Bello's development, he's in the best place.
Right, and I agree. For Bello's development, it's great. I mean, if anything, for exposure to the league for a casual like myself, that was awesome because I found myself watching a Bundesliga game at such a random time out of nowhere. But I mean, it's goodbye for me. It's like, you know, happy trails. You were awesome. I love seeing you develop. I can't wait to see how you turn out. But if we're going to segue into this, Gutman brings a little more experience. You know, Bellows was inconsistent at times, and quite frankly, there was a lot of times where I was screaming, you know, just hand it up. He was inconsistent in the final third to me. But
final third, yeah, dead on.
Yeah, yeah. Anibal?
Yeah, I didn't think Persy was going to come out with the analytics. He's been listening to Jason a lot, so I can hear that in his commentary. No, it's one of those things where like it was his last year of his contract with Atlanta, so obviously we had to sell him because if we let him go on the free, it kind of kills the purpose of us trying to be a selling team. So and developing the players for no reason. But yeah, no, I'm happy for him. I hope he kills it in Bundesliga where he wanted to play. So yeah.
All right,
I know here too that you wanted to, because then you could bring Caleb Wiley up, and Wiley is really promising. So
man,
timing works out.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. I wanted us to get through the rest of this list really quickly on the goodbyes. I mean, obviously Anton Walkes, huge blow. I loved Walkes. He was a great, solid defender when we needed him, but obviously George Campbell has now got the spot in the position to really fight for that, which I like for George Campbell. We had to let go of Alec Khan. Alec Khan obviously wanted a starting position. Makes sense for him to go to FC Cincinnati. They could use a good goalkeeper, so it's a win-win, honestly, for us because we also have a lot of good depth in goalkeeper. Eric Lopez, loaned to Benfield. And then the one I really want to talk about right here, which is somebody that we haven't really said goodbye to, but we have said that he's not in the plans for this year. Jürgen Damm. How are we feeling about Jürgen Damm? Where do we think he's going to end up? When do we think he's going to end up anywhere?
Can I just say he's living my dream of getting paid millions of dollars to TikTok? So that's my goal. And if you get to like practice playing soccer without actually having to do anything, then and be on a professional team, that's the dream. That's my
I feel, I mean, it's a weird situation because he was brought in right at the midst of the pandemic. Hamstring, I don't think has ever been right in Atlanta, and he didn't have that issue before, so it's bad luck with that. But look, once you got Luis Araujo and were able to pull that deal off last August, Jürgen Damm's time in Atlanta was up because they play the same position, and Araujo is going to get that time. So, and Damm's not going to be happy being a backup. You don't want to have a backup at that kind of a salary figure. Hasn't worked out, I'm assuming, up to this point to be able to trade him or transfer him. I thought he'd end up in Liga MX. I thought Club America would come in for him because they went after every other winger they could possibly get and missed out on Paul Areola pretty late. I thought they'd come and get Jürgen Damm. That would have made a lot of sense for them, considering the fact they've lost 4 out of 6. Maybe they should have. But I think it's probably going to end up being the MLS season buyout that you'll see on Friday is my guess. That's when you have to get roster compliant. You can do it at that point. Now, what's next for him? I don't know, because that buyout doesn't technically make him a free agent. He's still an MLS player. He's still under an MLS contract. Like, he'll still get paid. So Anibal's dream of being a TikToker, like, you need to get bought out by MLS. And then you're just sitting on the side waiting.
That's what I want. Yeah, I'll be a backup. I don't care.
Yeah, you got to see if you get picked up in the waiver draft, though, or in the waivers, or whatever that process looks like. Yeah. And we'll see.
Even Charlotte, I'll take Charlotte.
No, Martha Dixon has here Dom to Charlotte. Yeah,
they have one winger right now.
Yes, one.
They need. I mean, goodness gracious.
If any team could use him, it would be Charlotte.
It's a no-brainer, but they don't want to pay anything to Atlanta for him. So they're going to wait, and they'll probably get him on waivers, and then we'll see how it goes from that point. But Charlotte's a whole nother story.
Which, funny enough, I don't have that in my show notes for us to talk about.
Probably good. I'll stay out of trouble.
I don't think it's necessary, but let's go ahead and move to the hellos that we had. I'm going to skip the first one I have here because I know it's going to end up being possibly a larger conversation. Obviously, we've got Gutman. When we had the talks about Bello being the better of the two as far as history of performance and experience, we have Oswaldo Alonso, obviously a huge veteran. I know today when I was listening in stoppage time, Jason, you were talking about we're not really expecting him to fully start matches. I think last year he started about 15 matches, with the injury to Sosa if he comes back. When he comes back, we might have to pace that out a little bit. But as far as what I've seen in preseason, he reminds me a lot of Laurentowicz, which is this very cool, calm presence in the midfield, a very veteran leadership, somebody that I feel was missing for us for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit, if we're looking for somebody to compare him to, a combination of Jeff because of the leadership and just the steadiness, but with some of Eric Remedi. Where Eric had problems, I think, fitting into Atlanta's system is he would go hunt for the ball and go chase, but he'd do it sometimes in the wrong spots of the field, and the positional discipline would get him caught, and it'd be a bad turnover, and that spot would be open. I think Ozzy will go hunt and pick the ball up and jump into those passing lanes, get the interceptions, win tackles, but he reads the game better defensively. So he's different than Sosa, but right now to have him to turn to when Sosa is not recovered from the sports hernia surgery, it's a really good spot to be in.
And you've got that locker room presence too, similar to LGP. He's bilingual, he's a leader, he's commanding. There's a lot to do for that.
Future coach, I think. I think he's a future coach absolutely. At some point. I'd love to see him be a coach here. I'd love to see him join Pineda's staff at some point.
Anibal, you unmuted yourself. I'm waiting for the remark.
No, it's because I'm in Atlanta, like the city. So I don't want you to hear the city too much. So I keep muting myself. But the real Atlanta, downtown. Anyways.
We're not throwing shade at Cobb or DeKalb or Decatur or any of those.
Andy had to step out and use the neighbor's Wi-Fi. That's all.
I did. No. I know it's bad. Anyways, as far as Ozzy, I guess, like Jason and Persy kind of hit on it. Just that veteran presence is going to be big time that we are missing. So,
yeah.
Are we going to continue with the Honey Badger nickname for him?
I have not actually heard that nickname. When
I think that's a Seattle thing.
They called him the Honey Badger?
No.
Yeah, he's got some Honey Badger in him.
And how would that qualify him as honey? Like, maybe I just don't understand what the context of Honey Badger is.
Well,
I know the video.
Okay, I was about to say, you know the video, right?
I think I know which video we're talking about, but I'm not sure how it correlates.
Yeah.
Watch him play. Watch him get into about 5 incidents in the first 30 minutes on Sunday, and you'll get it.
Okay. Speaking of 5 incidents in 30 minutes, can we talk about how Dom Dwyer was not on the field for all of but 2 minutes and immediately got a yellow card? And this is, of course, I'm talking about the game that happened in Birmingham this past weekend. Is Dom just going to end up being the heckler of this team, the guy that we bring on to really get into opponents' heads?
I hope he's more than that, but I think there's still the question about Luca Martinez Dupuy out of Argentina, and are they going to be able to get a deal done to bring him in from Rosario Central? There's an update that it's still not done. Cesar Luis Merlo just tweeted that about 10 minutes ago. If Luca comes in, I would think that he's the number 2 option. If he doesn't, then yeah, you're going to need more out of Dwyer than that. He used to be that, and I haven't seen anything to indicate that like physically he can't do it anymore. I think he'll get good service, but he's got to produce. He's got to do something that, for all the hard work that Cubo Torres gave you, he couldn't score. He could not put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis, and you're not looking for a backup forward to get double-digit goals. If Dom picked up 5, I'm ecstatic. If he gets a couple, I'm okay, depending on how much time you see him. Hopefully it's not a whole lot.
Go, Persy.
You guys just be aggressive. Say what you want to say. This is us hanging out.
Persy, you're a cheer dad. Be aggressive.
Oh no, I cheer every weekend, but
that's what I'm saying.
Do we have any feelings towards Dom Dwyer? I mean, outside of the fact.
If we want to go, so he gets in, he gets the yellow. Then you've got Caleb Wiley coming up on the left, crosses that one beautiful cross, and then he misses it. It's just classic Dom Dwyer. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know.
So what you're saying is
do we send him out? Do we send him out? Do we send him out as the enforcer, like you were saying earlier? Maybe, sure, the hockey type enforcer. But I don't know. No high hopes, but I guess happy he's on the team.
So what we're saying is we would rather obviously clearly want him to be the 3rd string if we do get Dupuy in that transfer. I mean, obviously Dupuy is younger, has the ability to be a more motivated striker. I mean, not that Dom Dwyer would not be motivated, but it is that want for young striker coming in who the league has not seen. I mean, there is something to be said about the fact that Dom Dwyer has been in this league for a while. He is well known as being a heckler. I mean, he is sort of playbookable, if one could talk about a player being known as far as all of their tricks. But I mean, is that who we want to really look forward to at the end of a match when we need a pick me up?
I think they want Luca, but they got to get it done. Sorry.
So with Luca, I mean, I just saw that we got $200,000 for that international spot. I assumed that was done then. And you're saying that there was an update recently that's still in the works?
I mean, what's tricky about it, the tweet from Merlo that was at 7:10 tonight says there's still no definition regarding the arrival of Luca at Atlanta. Agreement with the player. So Atlanta and the player are good. Rosario Central has delayed the response at this point. They had another piece that they were trying to get done. That's what held it up originally. And I think that all got done in time. I don't know why Rosario Central is still holding it, still waiting, but that's where it stands according to Merlo tonight.
Okay.
And that Argentine window is so shaky. It's like it's closed, but it's not. It is, but then if you can sell someone, it's very weird.
It makes no sense. It's like most of the Argentine league structure. It makes no sense.
And then there was the big one. Yes, Anibal, was it you trying to knock on your window? No? Okay. Okay. This is going to be very interesting. So the last person I want to talk about, obviously, which is the big one, which we have been actually honestly expecting for a while, right? Thiago Almada comes in, not really a shock that we've signed him. Community obviously had a lot of comments, feelings. There's obviously a lot of it has been cleared up. Almada was at some point, people were saying that he was attached to a sexual assault case. In the end, he was never actually arrested, and a lot of what his attachments to that case were dismissed, not only by the Argentine authorities, but also by Atlanta United and MLS, as far as doing extensive reporting and their own right to get to the bottom of the matter. I know that this is a tricky subject. just for the context of what is actually happening. But two, I also think that, and it's one of the things that I pointed out and when all of it came up in the tweet, was that there is a want and a desire to trust the legal responsibility of not only MLS but Atlanta United to make sure that they're doing what is right by whoever the victim was, and right by Almada as well. And, if a team says they did their due diligence to make sure that all parties involved as far as Almada is cleared and that there is no underlying current there, then we as a community and as a fan base, I think, should respect our love and our trust with Atlanta United in allowing them to sign this player. Now, I know that there was a lot of dust that was, I don't want to necessarily say if dust would be the word here, but I know that there was a lot of conversation about if this was the right move. I think, in talking about the player, this player is incredibly talented. I know Jason will speak to the talent of this player and the fact that he, if anybody, deserves to really be here to show his talent. And then, like all wants that we have with Almiron and Barco and Martinez and the other Martinez, Pitti, we all want them to come and we want them to shine and then we want them to move on. And I think if any player deserves a chance to come and show and move on, to really get a chance to grow in not only their talent but in their career, I think Thiago Almada is one for that.
Yeah, I really think there was a lot of confusion at the beginning of, even before he was linked to Atlanta United. I think there was a lot of confusion about the sexual assault case. There's headlines in the Sun, which is a UK tabloid, that said he was charged, and he wasn't. He wasn't charged at that time. He wasn't ever charged. But that was a headline that I saw a lot of people reference. And one, don't ever trust a headline from that publication, period, because it's literally the National Enquirer on crack. But it's just, you have to try to dig into the Argentine legal system as well, which is different than ours. He was a person of interest, is the way you would call it. There were never charges brought against him. Like you said, there was the due diligence from a legal perspective that MLS and Atlanta United did. This is something that both organizations have experience in doing on a broader scale. So that was settled. And look, you can't tell people how to feel about any kind of a move. And I hope that anything that I've said doesn't come across that way. I just hope that people do, get all of the information and make sure it's from the reputable sources as well about it. And I hope that he gets an opportunity to show what he can do as a person as much as a player, because he's very young. And the neighborhood he's from in Buenos Aires that he grew up in, Fuerte Apache, it's where Carlos Tevez is from. It's one of the roughest places you could imagine to grow up from. It's a different life. It's a different life than I experienced as a kid. It's a different life than probably most of us experienced as kids. And he was able to get to a club like Vélez Sarsfield due to his soccer ability very young, but he went home to that neighborhood every day, and it's not a place where, some of the same things that we think about happen. The gesture is something else that's definitely, kind of clouded in context and understanding of what that was. He's a guy that, like I said, I hope that he gets the opportunity to show what he is on the field, because I think he's brilliant, but also who he can be as a man. And I think we all should get that opportunity to grow up, and he deserves that too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Trust the investigation, trust everything that went through. And honestly, if you move on to his actual play, there was a lot of bright spots in Birmingham. In Mexico when Gutman was just sending those passes over to him. It just needs that much more. And I know he hasn't been training with doing a couple of things, but man, it's exciting.
It is exciting. I do want to point this out from Odette. She says Thiago Almada may be the truest number 10 Atlanta United has ever had, and I would agree with that. The way that he plays, the way that he links. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, he's like in an Argentine sense of what a 10 is. Absolutely. Because like their 10s are a little different than we might think of like just a true playmaker. He is a playmaker. He'll create a ton of chances. He'll be close to leading the league in that. I could see 12 plus assists for him pretty comfortably. But he's also a guy who can score goals, and Messi is kind of that kind of Argentine 10. They call it an enganche hook, like everything goes around him, and he can do both. And I think Almada is that. And it's not to say that he's that at that level right now, but those are the types of comparisons that he got as a young age. And so to bring him here to be able to fit with guys around him like Moreno, like Araujo, like Joseph, I don't think he had that kind of talent around him at Vélez. So I think we've seen what he can be, and now you're giving him more tools to work with. I can't wait to see what it looks like on the field.
Anybody else want to join in?
But I think as far as like, not as a casual fan, because we all follow Atlanta pretty, not as in depth as maybe Jason. Probably in person too.
Jason lives and breathes this.
Everyone but me, I guess. Okay, all right. But like, I feel like, not as a casual, but like just as a normal fan, like you kind of just like in the initial news, you just felt like almost like fell victim to the moment, as far as like there was so much, hype, and then just news surrounding this signing, that it all just like came to a head. And I feel like, especially like online, there's a lot of arguing between fans about, was this right, was this wrong? And I don't know. I just think as far as like, I don't have a reason not to trust the front office. So why should I start now? So I feel like if they did, like you said, their due diligence, then we should give them the benefit of the doubt, let it play out. I wouldn't say forgive and forget just yet, but see how he grows, give him a chance, because I mean he's coming from like Jason said, a tough neighborhood growing up. Like it's not the same environment that he's going to come into here. So hopefully with a better, brighter, hopefully a better core friends and people around him that'll keep him in check for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. I want to actually transition us now. I know that we were supposed to go into a little bit more as far as in the catch up. Obviously, there's a lot to catch up. It's been a whole off season and then a preseason and a lot of changing of players and personnel, etc. One of the things I want us to start moving into is technically the headliner right now, because a lot of what correlates in this conversation between Almada and what Anibal was just saying of like, you have no reason to distrust the front office, is this sense of Atlanta United unity, right? The community in which we live in with Atlanta United. I'm just going to give up some like brief bullet points of what I kind of want us to discuss. One is the transition of time between what I see as, and I know it sounds so silly for a team so young, but what I would consider the glory years of the community, the unity between us all, the willingness to accept each other, the willingness to meet a random person that you've met on Twitter. These years, which I would deem to be, 2017 to 2019, that season that we had, where it was obviously Tata Martino, and then going into the full year of Frank de Boer in 2019. Those I would consider being years in which you started with the tailgates at Georgia Tech. You had the tunnel we would walk through. You would sit in the stands. We had those first couple of games in Georgia Tech, that feeling, that atmosphere, the growing and the expansion of just soccer in Atlanta in general, and the excitement that this city had with the new venture, with the new team, with the new vibe, right? The new culture that was being created. And then we went into Mercedes, right? Then we had the Gulch parties. We had the SGs that were king. We had the pigs that were being smoked. We had Footy Mob with the club-like tents. We had All Stripes with the champagne, which I went to almost all the time. And then, you had Terminus Legion, and you had Resurgence, and you had the faction with their truck. I mean, it really, those years between 2017 to 2019, obviously winning MLS Cup, all of the chances that we got, the players that we had, it feels like this coveted time for the community in which we were so enamored and engulfed in each other. We hung out, we talked, we went to bars, we went to random podcast live tapings. I saw Jason so much, he probably got so annoyed. I saw Anibal so much that he definitely got annoyed. And then Persy, I dealt with Persy for a while. And then, but it was this thing where, like, I met all of you during this time on Twitter. I met a lot of the people who were in this chat on Twitter. It was this acceptance. It was this loving feeling that if you walked into a store and you saw somebody wearing an Atlanta United jersey, you were going to say hi to them. You were gonna start that friendship and that community and accepting each other. And then there's always the and then. There was this shift, right? Obviously, 2020 did a lot of things outside of just emotionally wreck everybody in the world. It's a pandemic. You get stuck into a house by yourself or with a roommate or with a significant other or, with people, with a dog, with a cat. You're alone. You are secluded. And then that shift in the world obviously shifted into our world, right? Our community. But not only that, it shifted the way that we interact with each other. It shifted the way that we accept each other when they come into the Twitter sphere, right? It led to more vitriol because now we're being all of the Twitter gremlins and trolls. We're sitting behind a screen talking to each other because we can't see each other from, like, face to face. And it became this consistent thing where, to be absolutely honest, I didn't know if I was really an Atlanta United fan anymore. I watched the games, I had the jerseys, but my heart was completely out of it. I felt no connection to the people I was talking to. I felt no connection to the team that I was watching. It became this suck of us all trying to, I guess, fake it. And this is sort of like the conversation I want to have is, like, obviously the years between the 2020 season and the 2021 season were not good years for Atlanta United. Obviously, coming out of 2021 with, Glass, I thought, was a great interim manager. Obviously, Valentino was a great interim manager. And, we ended with Pineda last year, but there was a lot of down, right? There was a lot of times where we turned against each other. We turned against the front office really quickly. And it's because we were trying to point fingers and say that this is the one reason that this is all going wrong. Just like we can all point to COVID and say that was the one reason everything went wrong. But in reality, we just stopped talking to each other. I guess that's where I'm leaving that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in a different place with all of it. So, when the parties and all the great stuff with it, yeah, I'd see all three of you guys and everything you're doing, and I was envious of that because you guys got to have a different Atlanta United experience than I have. And then when, you guys could maybe clock out a little bit, and in 2020 when it was difficult, and people were coming at me and Mike on Twitter after a loss. It got to where, it was hard to have Twitter comments on our post-game shows because it wasn't exactly fun to read how much we were all of a sudden terrible at our jobs. I was really surprised at how fast it turned. But I do think what you said, Kelly, is really important because the fact that COVID happened alongside a lot of favorite players from that first era moving on and stories about, all these different things. And yeah, a lot of trolling and a lot of trolling that, I'll tell you from my perspective, I've had to be really careful about how I use social media going forward and not from what I say, but how much exposure I allow myself to it, because it can be really toxic and it can do a number on your mental health if you let it. I think what I would beg of Atlanta United fans to do is make the community that you want that is joyful. And you three are three of my favorites who do this. And I mean, I don't know Anibal and Persy like super great, but I enjoy what you guys do in the community because y'all are always welcoming and you're always like, hey, come hang out with us. Come watch the game with us. We're having fun. I wish that was what we always think of when we think of Atlanta United, like we used to. And I hope that it comes back. I really do, because we need more of what you guys are doing. And I love that you're doing this show, Kelly, because I hope that this is kind of a spark to getting more of that.
And I agree with everything both of you said. And going back to when everything started, I mean, I saw all three of you. You guys made it all the way up to coming. You guys, I met you guys at Pizzeria Zuri.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how far that reaches, right? You were still doing something with Jay, and Annie showed up afterwards, and but just like you were saying, everything kind of got distanced after COVID. It's because there wasn't that familiarity. We weren't tailgating a lot. I mean, I met the Parceros. I met Trains in person. He sat 3 rows behind me in my section.
The infamous Trains.
PSC, shout out PSC. I think that I completely agree that once this season comes around, obviously there's more buzz around it. There's a lot of exciting players to watch. I think everything's kind of come back to normal.
I could talk. Okay. Thank you for muting me. It's loud. Yeah. No. Like, I don't know, man. The losing didn't help. I feel like if we were winning, it wouldn't have been as toxic. I mean, I think that's pretty much obvious with any fan base. Yeah. But we got. I mean, not to quote DeBoer, but like we were spoiled. I mean, we were. Those first 2 years, I mean, even with DeBoer, like it was just like, it was just fun. Like it was fun to see the team. It was fun to hang out. Everything was new. Everything was just like, everything just connected and just pieced together perfectly. And then when like we start losing, the pandemic, that's when the shift changed, and it was just tough. I feel like we're slowly getting back into the swing of things. It was kind of happening towards the end of last season. The whole hindsight era wasn't very pleasant. I feel like Pineda's going in the right direction. I mean, obviously we only saw a little bit towards the end, but it's a very, as far as culturally wise, like I feel like we're getting back into like Kelly said, the glory days, for lack of a better term. And I'm excited, even though there's still a lot of work to be done. I'm excited. I feel like we're like I said, getting back into the swing of things, and hopefully if we start winning, playing well, going back to our ways, everything comes, to head.
Yeah. I mean,
also just getting together again, though. I mean, and this is something that you guys are all great at, is bringing people into the mix. And it's something that I hope, all Atlanta United fans out there do, is bring somebody new to whatever your pregame is. If it's hanging out in the supporters lot, if it's going to a bar and then getting a Lyft or an Uber down to the stadium, whatever it is, like bring somebody new. Like let's bring some new energy to it. And I'm just excited to see what it can be. Maybe now that it is not quite a clean slate, but it kind of feels like maybe a little bit as clean of a slate as you're going to get, with a new era, with a new group. And with Gonzalo Pineda, who I just honestly think that once everybody really gets to know him, he's going to be beloved in the city. I think he is absolutely the right hire and the right personality for the group now.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback off a lot of this. I think a lot of it, is just the identity that we had in our heads of who we were was lost, right? So not that we weren't still a good team, and we still had results, obviously, in 2019 going into the 2020 season, but it was a style of play, right? We expected what we got from the Tata Martino era, and we went into a De Boer era, which is different and tactically, and also just the way that the team looks and plays on the field. We had a different feeling with what we were seeing. And then, we get into the Heinze era, which was a very short era, thank God. And then we moved into Valentino, right? The interim and Valentino. And then that moved obviously into Pineda. So a lot of what you guys are saying with like clean slate, talking about, the ability that we're not only are we excited, but we're interested to see where we go, because it does in a lot of ways feel like a rebirth of what we originally intended and wanted for the community, which is one that we'll actually all get to be together. I mean, not only do we all get to be together, but they're opening up to full capacity on Sunday, which is the first time I think we didn't do that at all last year. Did we, Jason?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. I stand corrected. But but the fact of the matter is, though, that I expect to see more interaction with people. I expect to see more people hugging. I expect to see more people just being open arms. Jason's absolutely right. Take a friend. Say hi to people that you've never seen before at a tailgate. Pass them a beer. Offer them a shot of Guaro. I mean, these are things that we can. Go ahead.
Me and Persy are gonna make out every tailgate. So if you want to see that, then definitely show up.
It depends on what I drink, I guess. It's 2022, baby.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, bro. Anyways, we're single.
Yes, they're single ladies. So please, or men, depending on what you guys want. We're not biased here. So, yeah, but that again is just this. I am more excited to see where we go the beginning of this year, whether we win. I mean, we always want to win. There's always a want to win. But I think, to me, I'm more interested to see how we play. I'm more interested to see how the players communicate with each other. I'm more interested to see the connection between the players, because I know, just like at the start of 2017, we didn't always win, but you could tell that there was something there. And that, I think, underlying is what matters to me for this team. Not only that, but I'm also wanting, whether or not we all get together, whether or not I all see all of you, drink beers with all of you, it's the want of being there and the energy with the community of taking in part of something that, we've been missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody out there, I hope that y'all realize that you get to make the community what you want it to be. It's not somebody else. It's not a troll on social media. It's not anybody that is, anonymous or nameless or whatever. It's you. I mean, you guys make a really fun community that I think people want to be part of. And I hope that more people out there will do the same. And, we get this loud, crazy atmosphere at the Benz back for home games, because I mean, there's times calling it from the radio booth that I will take off the other ear of my headset so I can hear everybody, because we have to turn it down on the broadcast so people can actually hear Mike and I talk about what's going on. When it's really going, there's not a feeling that I've ever experienced in sports like it. And I hope that we get that a lot this season.
All right, really quickly, best community experience that you've had for Atlanta United, whether it was when we first started, whether it was last year, regardless. Best community experience cannot be the MLS Cup.
Oh, but that's
the easiest one. You can't do that.
Everybody's, I think.
That was literally my birthday.
I know it was your birthday, but you can't. And I also want to see this in the chat. So in the chat, what was your best community experience that you felt with Atlanta United family experience, but not MLS Cup?
See, mine are all going to be different. I want to hear you guys, because it's probably stuff that I haven't experienced. But when we weren't allowed to call games for the Open Cup in 2019, which was awful and I hated it, and I hope that's not the case this year, and we're crossing our fingers. We did a watch party at the Brew House, and we did pregame and halftime stuff. and it was packed, and we were sitting outside on the patio, so we were watching the game outside. The weather was nice, and it was a great win, and it was cool for me to get to experience that part of it, because that's really that, and the St. Louis game that I got to go to and watch from the stands. Like, that's it. That's the only experiences that I've had like that.
Mine would be the Nashville game. The Nashville game was just the drive up, the people that we were with, but more importantly, it was the stadium. I mean, Nashville's fans were surprisingly just so welcoming, extremely just. Cool. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, they'll still say that they had more fans than us. They'll still say they had more fans than us, and we'll still discredit our actual numbers showing up. But man, that was a fun trip. It was nice. But I'm going to include MLS Cup because it's bittersweet. Because that's when I met. I think I want to say Annie for the first time, and it was his birthday because we took a picture, and I'm not going to show it because we were
I look bad. I remember.
We were gone.
You were very gone. Yes. Yeah.
And then but at the same time, this hat, everybody on this hat is gone. They're gone. They're gone. It's bittersweet. You know, it was a great time.
Anibal?
I have so many, you know. What was it? Oh, you know what? When we had Eastern Conference Finals, we had the watch party in Hudson.
Oh,
FC.
yes. Yep.
That place was packed,
and I drank a whole bottle of champagne. I remember that one.
Yeah. A whole what? One or two?
Yeah.
You literally had a straw in a bottle.
I did have a straw in the bottle. Yes.
You did have a straw in the bottle. So that was a cool experience because, you know, obviously it was, you know, first time go to MLS Cup, and it was just a fun, experience. Everyone was, but other than that, Nashville was fun. Just a lot of good moments. MLS Cup in the Gulch when it was pouring.
Yes.
I know how to call it out, but that was
Party in the Gulch.
An experience. Yep. Yeah. And it was cold, it was raining, but it didn't stop us. And that was just a cool experience. So,
what I find so cool about that, though, is now it's this thing where whenever it is rainy on match day, we like it.
Oh, yeah, people don't show up. Yeah.
Well, yes and no, but like at big games, and you guys, you have to attest to this. On big games, when it is supposed to call for rain, we get excited because we're like, oh look, it's MLS Cup vibes.
I think we have a good
that's community
too.
That goes back to 17.
Do you want to know my biggest superstition though? I will not sit Delta Club ever again. I did supporter section.
Okay, Alpharetta.
For the entire season, I did supporter section, right? And then it was the game where Joseph took the PK he shouldn't have taken against Toronto. And I decided to go, and I was like, let me splurge a little and go sit in Delta Club, right? And I kept on looking over to my left and seeing everybody having a good time. And when we lost, and first of all, the atmosphere was dead. I'm sorry to anyone in the chat that sits there. The atmosphere was completely dead. I wanted to be with the people. And after that game, when we lost, I said, I'm never sitting in this godforsaken section again. This is miserable. I want to go back to my people.
That's weird. I'm pretty sure you have tickets there for this weekend, but okay.
I will say again, there are many, but the first thing that pops out to me is when it was at Bobby Dodd and the national anthem was about to start and the mic got cut and we all sang the national anthem together. That was obviously an early days thing, but that still is such a hardening to what we were building at the time and what I still think that we are. We just need to like open ourselves back up to being, because we are that group, we are that community, we are this united front. And I know that there's been a lot of talk and there's been a lot of like saying we are united, but this is one of the things, like it's like this is the time to step up. Like Jason has kept saying, we got to make our community. Let's legitimately make our community. Let's allow us to get back to where we were, because the only people that are stopping us from not being how we were and how the atmosphere felt is ourselves.
That's awesome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, that day it rained too, so that's a theme.
It's a theme. The
That was
rain
the
is the
Houston
theme.
game, right?
Moment.
That was the one that
Yes.
got
Yeah,
delayed.
the Houston game.
Yeah.
Because that was also
Maybe
the
got a
time
hat
that we
trick.
were in the tunnel
Yeah.
and it started
Yeah, and
pouring,
almost
and then
flooded.
we all felt like we were going to die in this tunnel underneath the.
It was flooding in
underneath the
there. Like our
It
feet
was.
were covered in water. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see a lot of people talking about the foil. I literally still have random pieces of foil folded up, and like just random places
from
of my
the
house.
seat, the
From the
full
tifo,
The
seat,
seat
tifos,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was a
The
cool
full
moment
tifo.
too.
That was really cool.
That was
I saw in the comments the Bobby Dodd days and a reference to my favorite goal, and I want to hear from you guys what your favorite goal is. My favorite goal in club history, it will probably be this for a long, long time, is the Tito goal against Orlando, the last goal of
Yes.
Bobby Dodd that tied
Yeah.
it because of the just like the
money.
loudness, the feeling of
Yeah.
it, like it was special. That's my favorite goal memory.
Yeah, I ripped my pants in that moment. I remember that now.
I did not rip my pants in that moment.
I
You
literally
got
ripped
me.
my pants.
Nice.
I had a hole in my pants outside of. Yeah, it was bad. It was fun. But it
What I've noticed is that there are a lot of big goal moments that everyone talks about and everyone tweets about, and I'm just kind of like, I know I was at the game, but it didn't. It's always on the rewatch where I'm like, oh, that was a great goal. Because when I'm there, I'm like, everything's everywhere. I was just, I can't remember it. But afterwards, when I recap the game, it is a beautiful goal. But I don't remember being there. No, I am.
I was not at the game, which I still want to go to an Orlando game. I have not been to an Orlando game in Orlando yet. It's on my list. But the Tito Lion Tamer goal still
the first one. Yeah.
still gets me every time. I just think about
Yeah.
it. That, and it's not necessarily a goal, but I will say it is a team performance, was the San Jose match.
The After Dark, that was insane.
The After Dark. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yes,
God.
After
I have
Dark.
never
Cool.
heard Mike be so crazy in my life. He was gone.
Mike, I was randomly yelling. I don't even know what I said. Like I have
Yeah,
no
that was-
idea what I was
There
saying.
were no words. There was not words.
There
that were
were
coming out.
words. There was something like noises were coming out of me, but I don't know what I was trying to say. It was insanity.
That was a special time.
That was a special time. All right, we can go down memory lane for a long time, but we do need to sort of like get to the points of the show and sort of wrap this up and do our community bit. But let's go ahead and get into a match preview. We're just going to keep this pretty simple. We don't need to jump into the craziness of this. But obviously, it's Atlanta United versus Sporting Kansas City this upcoming weekend, Sunday, February 27th at 3 p.m. Do we know official start time, Jason?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but it's an FS1 game, so it'll probably be a kick close to 3:30. They usually do a pretty full 30-minute pregame.
Okay, cool. Well, there you have it, folks. 3:30. But still, I expect to see all of you at the Gulch, or what are we calling that now? The new Gulch,
I don't know what it's called.
The parking
That's another
lot?
It needs a name.
That whole area is just like. I don't think it's
it just needs
its
time.
potential yet.
We'll give it
It
time.
hasn't.
So
I haven't the Terminus Legion Jaeger truck pull up to that gulch yet, or the new gulch. So I don't know. Is it?
again, give it time. Give it
Yeah.
time.
I
So why
think
don't
it needs a name? Somebody here has to come
In
up
the
with
chat.
a name for
Yep.
that area. It needs
are we just calling it? We're calling it Lot 17, is what I'm seeing.
there's got to be.
I don't know. That
I mean, that's
feels.
not bad, but they're
You can't.
Yeah,
That's
Lot
not really a great
17.
branding name.
Yeah.
I like that one. The parking lot. That's nice.
The parking.
Parking lot.
Okay, so looking at Sporting Kansas City, I know I'm getting a lot of my notes, obviously, which is so funny, because I will say this: I prepare for these things normally, and I'll read, SB Nation's blogs and things like that. But a majority of the notes that I get on anything when it comes to match day is actually just listening to Jason. So a lot of the things that I steal are directly from his mouth, which makes me sound intelligent. But reality is that Jason is feeding most of this information. But both teams, as far as Atlanta United and Sporting Kansas City, are both possession-based teams, right? They're going to want to have possession of the ball. But one of the things that Jason said that Atlanta can be doing in order to take advantage of this sort of possession game is that we can take advantage of the quick counter. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that, Jason?
Yeah, I think it's two things that are keys for Atlanta in this. I'll go three. So one, if Atlanta dominates possession, which is over 55%, I think they win because Kansas City doesn't really play without the ball very well. Kansas City will always try to build up the play. So the counter pressure is going to be key. Like when Atlanta has a turnover in the attacking half, and we've seen them do this in preseason a lot. And I know it's something Gonzalo Pineda talked about from day one. If Atlanta can press, and especially Araujo, who's just a maniac when he doesn't have the ball and trying to win it back, we saw it in Birmingham. He creates an own goal. If he can have that kind of an impact off the ball, Kansas City's not going to start punting it long. They're going to play through the back. They're going to try to play. So that's going to create turnovers. And the third one is, and we saw it against Birmingham a lot in the second half, I thought, where Atlanta can pick the ball up in the middle third or even in their own half and be able to attack quickly. Like Atlanta will want to build up play on a goal kick. They want to build up play when they have it in their defensive third. That's fine. When they get the opportunity in the middle third and they get possession, if they can go quick, Kansas City is a little bit older. Uri Russell, their central midfielder, their holding mid. He is 28 or 29. Hasn't played a ton. He was in Orlando, didn't really fit their system. 3 of their 4 members on the back line are over the age of 30. Fontas is great on the ball, not as great without the ball. Ismail Marine is pretty good, but he's been injured a lot. We have to see what he can do playing with Fontas. They didn't play a lot together last year. Graham Zusi's 35. He's great going forward, but he's not a strong defender. And that's where I think Gonzalo Pineda will have some ideas on things he can do to attack it. So Zusi's the right back. I think Andrew Gutman has an opportunity to have a big day in those moments. But I also think you'll see Araujo move over to that side some and either create an overload with Tyler Wolff or whoever's playing on that side, or Araujo and Wolff will flip like they did against Celaya, where Araujo created the cross that was put in to their own goal because he switched sides. I think they're going to want to get Araujo running at Graham Zusi as much as possible in those counter opportunities. And if that happens, it's a good day for Atlanta United.
Yeah, because we're definitely pulling on this point that Lainey, is it Hales? Sorry, Lainey, I don't actually know how to pronounce your last name. I'm just realizing I'm a butthead. And Hales. But I don't know. I read that as Hall. And
Hales.
I'm sorry. Regardless,
There's an I.
Graham Zusi is old.
He is old. He's old. He's still good going forward. Like, you give him an opportunity in the final third, he can cause you problems. But defending, he's a bit of a liability.
Toledo being out is going to be that's going to hurt him though.
Yeah, where they hurt you, it's not Polito. We just haven't seen him healthy a ton. Kyrie Shelton will be a hold-up number 9, a target guy. He's not going to score a ton, but he makes the guys around him better. Where they hurt you is their wingers, Daniel Shallowy from the left and Johnny Russell from the right, cutting inside. I mean, each of them had over 15 goals last year. So their goals don't come from the number 9 as much as they come from the wingers. Like, Peter Vermes is a big Barcelona supporter, and the way he builds his team, it's very Barcelona-esque. He gets guys from Barcelona's academy like Fontas and Uri Russell, and he brings those guys in. So you get that movement in the final third like you used to see with Barcelona, where David Villa was playing as a winger, but he's cutting inside and scoring a ton of goals. So I think that's what you have to worry about, and that's where Gutman and Hernandez and I think Osvaldo Alonso becomes really important in those moments too, for defending for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do we want to look at who the standout players are going to be for each game? So I have here for players to watch for Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City are obviously Johnny Russell, Shallowy, and then the striker, which I'm missing my page, which is Shelton, correct?
Yeah, Kyrie Shelton.
Yep.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any players that they think, or Jason, do you have any players that we think we should also be players to be aware of for Sporting Kansas City?
Yeah, I'll give you a wild card. Their new left back, Logan Ndembe. He's Belgian. He's 22. Vermes seems to really like him. He's going to be up and down that left side. So Ronald Hernandez will have to defend him when he gets forward. But he's got the pace to get back, and he's probably going to have to recover a lot in those transition moments. We don't really know what he's going to bring to the table yet. He's been in the second division in France the last couple of years, 27 games over the last 2 years. But they've really liked him in preseason, and they're really high on him. It wouldn't Wouldn't shock me if he gets the start here. He's competing with Ben Sweat, former U.S. international on that side. I think Ndembe has the big upside for them.
Okay. As far as Atlanta United, are there any players that we want us to be aware of as far as we could see them having a star performance against Sporting Kansas City? I know that you said obviously Araujo against Graham Zusi will be a big one. Do we see Tyler Wolff having a good game this game?
I think he needs to. I think he'll get the start. I mean, look, it's Wednesday, so does Marcelino Moreno get well enough to be able to give you 45 or 60 minutes? It's not likely, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Jake Mulroney also banged up, so could he come in and get that opportunity? Again, it's not likely since we didn't see him on Sunday. I think what Wolff has to do, and where I'm kind of at with Atlanta United while you're waiting to get Moreno healthy and waiting to get Almada in the group, is early on you might have to rely a little bit more on that work off the ball. And Araujo's great in pressing, but Wolff is really good in those moments too. And with Atlanta United 2 last year, I think it really clicked for him. Jack Collison's work with him on the press. He killed Indy 11 and had goals early because of the press. So Wolff, as much off the ball defending as on the ball, needs to have a big day. I think Amar Sejdic had a great day in Birmingham, and he could get the opportunity here with the absences in the middle of the park. And if he can be that kind of secondary playmaker that we saw in Birmingham, those two guys could be really important. And if they play well, then Gonzalo Pineda's got headaches to pick lineups week after week with a lot of talented guys.
Yeah. Another player I do want to point out that I thought had a really outstanding game in Birmingham was Josetu. I thought that his link play between the midfield and obviously Joseph, the back flick to Joseph, I thought was just cheeky and wonderful. And you look to have more combinations with players like that with Joseph, just to give him more opportunity and more ability to do what he does best, which is finish,
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like Mateus has got a little more swagger since he dyed his hair.
Yes. I mean, Anibal can speak to that.
Yeah, I got a lot of swagger when I was blonde. I might go blonde again. Who knows? We'll see.
That was one of the questions that were in the chat is what's the color going to be?
So for gray. This team is making me gray.
So for the podcast people who can't see Anibal right now, Anibal has a luscious head of hair. And almost every season he has either done something absolutely crazy to it or has just tempted us with the thought of dyeing it a crazy color and then backed out.
So kind of like tattoos.
Backed out? What are you talking
about? Hold on.
What are you talking about backing
Hold
out?
on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
You can't start saying people are tempting hair colors when you're not getting the tattoo you promised everyone.
Hypocrisy in this live stream. I don't even know what to call this.
And look at that. What do you know, guys? It's time.
No, but in all honesty, it's gonna be a tough match. I mean, expect SKT to challenge in the West. I mean, it's an institution.
Yeah. Hey, Anibal, I'm begging for the mint green when they break out the Forest kit.
He won't go mint green. He won't go mint green
with the hair.
You don't know me. You don't.
I got faith in you.
You can do it. I think that you would look so good in mint green.
Do your beard first.
You can add the shoes with it.
Do your beard.
You're full. No, shut up. All of you. I'm gonna mute all. Can I mute all of you?
No, unfortunately you can't. You just can't. We're always in your ear.
So Laney asked, what color hair will Joseph have? I think he shaved it, didn't he? Like he went down to a buzz.
I think he buzzed it really close ahead of Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're in the community section of the pod, so please send in your questions, your comments. We're going to just have an open conversation here. This actually leads into a good question. How does everybody feel about the new kit that was released? I will give my opinion on it. I actually like it a lot better in person. When I saw the photos of it, I was not a fan. I was really confused. In person, I do like it. I'm still confused as to, though, why. If it's the city in the forest, I understand using the colors of the forest, but I feel like there could have been so much more. As Laney just, there could have literally been so much more that was done to incorporate this forest aspect outside of just the colors.
Here's the two things I like about it. I got to see it for the first time in person at the Buc-ee's in Leeds, Alabama, which was pretty cool. Coming back from Birmingham.
Shout out Buc-ee's.
You know, it's a good spot to see the
I'm
kit
going to
for the
grab a beer,
first
by the way.
time.
You guys keep going.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's cool. That'll work. You know, you're
I
grabbing.
supposed to drink all the whole
Okay, now we can
show.
talk about her, guys. So
here we go. No, like I also like that you can actually see the numbers on it, because from a broadcast perspective in some of the stadiums when you're far away, before
Is it the
Josetu
darker
dyed his
numbers?
hair, yeah, they're the kind of the darker green on the lighter kit. At least that's how it is on the shorts. I'm assuming that's what it is on the back. That is a huge help, because the gold kits were terrible to see numbers from a distance. The peach kits were pretty bad. And some of the stadiums in the league, when you get far enough away, Yankee Stadium is a prime example, you get Emerson Hyndman, Mateus Osechu, Franco Ibarra, all similar body types. And when they all had kind of dark hair, and they're all in the same place on the field, forget it.
And that's why you like the dyed hair so much, because then you can point them out.
Yes. Yes, everyone. No, but then everyone can't dye their hair, because then they all look the same, unless they all go different colors.
So I haven't seen it in person
soccer
yet.
players dye their hair.
It's great.
To stand out, because they all look the same.
I feel like this is a controversial subject. Do people actually like the concrete and strawberry kit? Because
yes,
I love that one. I love that one.
I hated that one.
I don't know how people say they don't like it.
It's the only one I don't own. I own every other one.
Exactly.
I don't own the bacon kit. I did not like the bacon kit. The Unity kit. I'm sorry.
The bacon kit. I've never heard it called that.
You never heard? That's literally what everybody's like. That it looks like bacon. It looks like bacon.
And I didn't like the king kit. I like
the king kit in this. Like, I got what they were going for. I think for me, for the king kit, the peach kit or the white and gold.
White and gold. I don't like the white.
The collar, I was not a fan of. The sleeves, I was not a fan of.
See, I didn't like the collar on the last parlay. Was it the last one?
Yeah, it was similar. It was similar to the king kit though.
But that wasn't that the whole supposed to like be the 25th anniversary of MLS. Like most teams had that kit.
It was supposed to be like a 90s collar or something, and okay, whatever.
Like a lot of teams had that kit.
I'll take the fold over. Like, so how does everybody feel about the Inter Miami fold over?
That's cool.
I never liked those ever. That was just
I don't like collars.
I like collars in general. That's not my favorite style of collar.
Because it's like a collar and then it cuts. It's a weird. Why would you not just keep the collar?
Yeah, it's a little odd. You could have just done the collar. I do like that they're finally doing the pink and the right shade of pink, and their branding's much better now than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, everybody in the chat, let's hear some opinions. The concrete has nostalgia. I agree. There is a nostalgia. I totally get that.
It also fits really well. It just hugs your body the right way. Yeah.
It just looks like it would be.
Why don't you hug my buddy the right way? I'm just kidding.
That's why Nashville is such a great memory for me. If you want to be honest.
If I remember the story right, like when they went into the first season and they were working on the kits, they basically could pick one that they could really customize and work with Adidas to make unique. So of course they did the striped kit that way. The gray one was kind of here, this is what you're going to get. I liked it. I liked it with the white shorts, like the alternate one when they couldn't wear red shorts with it. I liked it with that. I like it the best of the regular alternate kits we've had so far until the new one. I actually like the new one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I didn't like the new one when they put out that picture in that terrible lighting, but then seeing it in person and seeing it at the release, it looks great. And that was my thing. I hate it. I kind of like it. Might like it. Okay, you know what? I love it. It was awesome. I like it.
Okay, so let's talk about the league then. Was there any actual jersey or kit within the league that you wish could have been us? Because to be absolutely frank, I know that we talk about like Adidas going off of templates that they already have, but I mean, Seattle's.
I don't like Seattle's at all.
No, Portland.
No,
Portland.
the little dot.
Portland?
Yeah, it's
Portland. Yes, sorry, Portland. Yes.
Oh, Portland. The roses.
The roses, yeah.
I like that they did something really different. I'm not a huge fan of it, but they really went for it with that. I can appreciate it.
I'll get a lot of slack for this, but I like Orlando's kit.
It's good.
I like it.
It's not bad.
I like the sunburst. You can kick me out if you like, but I like the sunburst. That one and LAFC's little Gatsby's.
Yeah, I actually really like the Gatsby's. Yeah,
that's cool. I'm trying to think of what other ones jumped out to me that I like. I like
Charlotte's Mint or Black and Mint.
I like Montreal's second kit.
Ooh, isn't that an Arsenal? Cool. That's
kind of.
Yeah,
kind of. I think they flipped the direction of it and tweaked it a bit, but that happens. That's all good. There was another one that I kind of liked too. The NYC one is another one where they really went for it with their secondary. It's okay. I guess it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely went for it. I actually dig it. I mean, I know they've been waiting for an orange jersey for a while for them, so I'm actually on board for them doing orange. I actually kind of like that they didn't just go straight orange though.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Good for them. I like when they try to do something a little bit different, but it is risky. And I get, like, Charlotte, for example, I think a lot of people were like, it's so plain. It's their first one. You can't go risky with the first ones. You got to get at least your identity nailed down first. They've got it.
Kit, right?
Yeah, like that shade of blue, that's what they're going to be. Like, that's everything to them. So, okay, make that the hallmark of it. They can get riskier down the road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one team I think that hasn't really been risky at all with anything is Nashville.
Yeah.
And their fans are happy about it either. I mean, it's very just repetitive. It's the same thing. It looks the same. Not a lot.
You know,
I wish at least they'd break it up and not always do all yellow or all navy and just mix up the shirt and short and sock combinations. Just do that at least.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I would agree. I again, it's just a matter of styling and spackling and color, and I just think that they're not there yet. So
I didn't like Toronto's. I tweeted out that
they did the split. The white
it looked like it was like trying to find the channel 3 when you're trying to play your console. I mean, it just wasn't a fan.
It pains me a little bit, but I like the Red Bulls red shirt with the giant checkerboard sublimated. That's a throwback. Everybody had an Umbro shirt or shorts with the sublimated checkerboards at some point. So, all right, I get that. I like Cincinnati's orange. That's cool. I'm a fan of orange. I can work with that. And another one that pains me, but I think it might be the best new kit of all of them, is Philadelphia's. I really like that look.
I don't think I saw Philadelphia's. Hold on.
Navy with gold sponsor and then a light blue stripe down one side of the chest. I like it.
As John would say, I'm efforting.
Geez.
That is nice.
I like it.
Yeah. It's very clean.
Yeah, I think I tend to gravitate towards that. Not as clean as the LA Galaxies, which is a white shirt with a V-neck with stars on the collar.
Talk about boring.
That's kind of could at least do the sash still.
What a shoe-in on that one. I mean,
what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing?
Vancouver's is always good too.
Yes.
Shout out to the Whitecaps.
So I'm gonna wrap this with this. What is the one thing we are looking forward to the most? And hopefully Anibal can hear this. He's been having, I think, some issues with his connection. But what is the one thing we are looking forward to the most this upcoming weekend?
This upcoming weekend?
This upcoming weekend.
Oh,
nope.
okay.
No. Just this upcoming game. What's the one thing we are looking forward to for this? I'm not talking about a performance for the players. I'm just talking about us as individuals. What's the one thing we are looking forward to for this weekend?
It would be nice to win a home opener. It would be. It's going to be great. What am I looking forward to? Seeing everybody. There's been tons of people I haven't seen, and it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
I think just getting that vibe back at the stadium and feeling that. I mean, I always look forward to the start of the season, and it's been kind of weird this preseason because I've actually called all the games except for the first one that wasn't a full match. So I've been calling games. So I feel like I've kind of knocked the rust off of that. But just being in a full stadium and it being so loud and crazy and everything that the fans bring into the bins, I can't wait to feel that. I guess that first loud roar is what I'm really looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anibal is still having some connection issues, so I would actually probably agree with all of you guys with what you're saying. Those are things that I'm definitely looking forward to. But I think the big thing for me is actually just being able to walk the terminals or walk the levels and being able to just run into people that I haven't been able to see in a while, being able to see people that I talk to on Twitter quite frequently and then just don't ever get the chance to see them as frequently in person. Obviously, I'm going to be in the supporter section, so getting to be able to lose my voice once again for the 100th time, something I'm looking forward to. It's just going to be really exciting once that first whistle goes off, because I feel like that's going to feel like a lot of a release in a lot of ways. It's a lot of anticipation and a lot of buildup to this moment, and I'm excited to enjoy that and spend that time with all of you. Well, this has been absolutely incredible. And again, thank you guys so much. I'm sad we can't have Anibal here. I know that he has a game, I think probably in 10 minutes. And he's losing a little bit of connection, but we will thank you, Anibal, for coming on. Persy, obviously, thank you very much. Jason, thank you so much for being a special guest on this show and coming on and walking us through what we should be expecting for the season and the players as well. And to all of you for coming here and spending your time with us. Hopefully you're also drinking a beer or tea or coffee or whatever, what's your whistle, I guess. But we are excited that you came to join us. We will be doing this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. live, because that's the best way for me to actually do something, is force me to do it live. And then, we'll also be just taking your comments, your suggestions, send them in on Twitter. You guys, I'm sure will DM me your thoughts and feelings. So please DM me your thoughts and feelings. Before I leave, I do want these guys to be able to share their handles so you can reach out to them as well. Jason, why don't you go ahead and share where people can find you? I know it's listed there, but go ahead.
Yeah, Longshore on social media, Soccer Down here as well. You can join us on Twitch, 9:05 Monday to Friday, and join the conversation. We don't have our usual Nico Moreno tomorrow from Seattle. He's on vacation. But we'll have Mike Conti on Friday with us at 10 o'clock, and we'll have one of either Greg Garza or Michael Parkhurst at 9:30. I don't know which one. I think they're doing rock, paper, scissors to see who draws the first week.
And then there's also, just so we can make sure, what's going on tomorrow night, Jason?
Tomorrow night, yeah. Somebody I know is going to be there too, I think. That's what I heard.
So strange.
Yeah. Crossover episode. We're at Slow Pour in Lawrenceville with our first official live tour show, even though it's our third of the year. We'll get deep into the weeds on Atlanta United and lineups and depth charts and all of that. We'll talk Kansas City. We'll take questions. Should be a really big crowd. Last time when we were there, it was packed last year. So really looking forward to it. Slow Pour Brewing in Lawrenceville tomorrow. You can watch on Twitch if you can't join us, but come hang out and have a beer with us.
And so be able just to look on Twitter to find those links for the Twitch if they can't make it.
Yep. Twitch.tv/soccerdown here.
All right. Persy?
You can find me at PH_AROUT, far out. It's just a bunch of mindless tweets, more Lady United based, but gets a little crazy out there. So if you follow me, just know what you're getting into. And then at p.herrera.10 on Instagram.
Oh, there you go. And then I will also shout out to Anibal, because I know he's not here, but it's at Latin Heat on both Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to find him. He is a great maker of Atlanta United content. Some of it is far out, as Percy's Twitter handle says, but most of it is just downright fun. Again, you can find us here same time next week at 7 p.m. live. Join us. Let's hang out. By that time, we'll have a whole new game and a whole new plethora of things to discuss. So that is it for the show tonight. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. And I'll see you all in the Gulch. Thank you guys so much for joining.